It's getting clearer by the day that Donald Trump is not okay. But his cognitive decline goes far beyond just verbal slip-ups. It's his increasingly deranged and dangerous rhetoric that's particularly concerning. Don't just take it from me. His own former White House communications director, Alyssa Farah Griffin, said in an interview this weekend that during his administration, Trump casually talked about executing people multiple times in meetings.
Caitlin Collins, to her credit, CNN interviewed Bill Barr and asked about an anecdote that I had shared about a meeting he and I were both in the Oval Office, where Trump straight up said a staffer who leaked a story should be executed. And Bill Barr kind of danced, said, like, I don't recall that specific instance, but there were others where he talked about executing people. And I'm like, how you rationalize that is a person fit in sound judgment to be president of the United States.
At the time period where they were going to start to discuss, what was Dan Scavino's role?
At the time, I believe his title was social media director for the White House. It became deputy chief of staff at the time that the conversation in question took place.
Okay, and when was that?
The conversation was around December 19th of 2020 at the White House Christmas party. And I emphasized to him, I thought that the claims and the ability to challenge the election results was essentially over, because he said to me in a kind of excited tone, well, we don't care and we're not going to leave. And I said, what do you mean? And he said, well, the boss, meaning President Trump, and everyone understood the boss, that's what we all called him. He said the boss is not going to leave under any circumstances. We are just going to stay in power. And I said to him, well, it doesn't quite work that way, you realize. And he said, we don't care.
Is he fit to be president of the United States? Is Donald Trump fit to be president?
This is the way I'll answer that, Geraldo, which is, if you believe in his policies, he's the what he's advertising is his policies. He's the last person who could actually execute them and achieve them. He does not have the discipline. He does not have the ability for strategic thinking and linear thinking or setting priorities. Or how to get things done in the system. It is a horror show when he's left to his own devices, and so you may want his policies, but Trump will not deliver Trump policies. He will deliver chaos, and if anything, lead to a backlash that will set his policies much further back than they otherwise would be.
Fringe was kind of the point. This was the story that Donald Trump did not want America to hear. This is why he was willing to pay the money to her. A guy who we've heard is very frugal, was willing to make sure this payment was made so that America didn't hear about him showing up in his Hugh Hefner satin pajamas, that he didn't sleep in the same bed as his wife, and that there was a woman he wanted to sleep with who he was saying reminded him of his daughter, right? Like, ick. I mean, so you had all of these things that portrayed Donald Trump as really this kind of lame, desperate, creepy old man. And that is a story he wouldn't have wanted to get out. I mean, if that had gotten out, it would have been make America gag again, because that's how it felt in the jury, in the overflow room. There are people who were having visceral reactions to what she was saying.
Pretty obvious that Donald Trump does accept election results, even despite the fact that it was a very questionable election in 2020, because Joe Biden is unfortunately sitting in the Oval Office today.
What the hell is she talking about? She didn't talk to her father. Did she not just hear his rally? She's not been paying attention to what this man is saying for the last 5 years? Of course he doesn't accept the election results. Stop it. I mean, you know, this is the thing that kills me. These folks think they can just spew out lies and distort the truth, and everybody just like, oh yeah, that's exactly, yeah, Donald Trump supports, you know, Joe Biden's election in 2020. Stop it. Doesn't work like that. Oh, and another thing, let me make it clear. You cannot have ballots counted after elections are over, Laura. Yeah, you can. It's called elections. That's how they work.